All right, you lift your cabinet up into place, you slide it into position, and you see this. It's touching at the top, but you have a nice big gap at the bottom. What do? You have to scribe the frame of this cabinet. In this video, I'm going to show you how to do exactly that. First, it starts with making sure you have enough material to cut off. Because I custom built this unit, I know I gave at least an extra inch on the side to be able to cut off. If your cabinets don't have that, then you'll need to add a filler strip. If these are manufactured kitchen cabinets, then you usually can order a filler strip to add to the side so it looks like this setup. Next, I have to test fit the unit. I built and installed the countertop so I know it's nice and level. I'm protecting it with some cardboard, but you could use floor paper also. You just want to use something that's very thin and consistently thick. I put it into position. This means I need to be as tight as possible to both walls and parallel to the front edge of the countertop. I also want to make sure that the entire bottom of the cabinet sits on the countertop, or in this case, the cardboard. If it lifts up at any location, then that means I've tilted it out of position. If you position it correctly, it should look something like this. As you see, the back wall is touching at the bottom with a big gap above, and in the front, it's touching at the top with a big gap at the bottom. These are the gaps we're going to remove. It starts with using some tape. This is my favorite tape. It's called yellow frog tape. I'll leave links down below for all the products and tools that I use. I put a line of tape on the cabinet along each wall. Now let's talk about how much to cut off. The face frame for this unit is 1 3/4 inches wide, and I want it to remain 1 3/4 inches at its narrowest point. So at the spot where the cabinet is already touching the wall, I measure 1 3/4 inches in from the inside edge of the stile. The distance from that mark to the wall is the size of the spacer I need for my scribe. So now I need a scrap block that measures 3/4 of an inch, or at least close, plus or minus a 1/16 or so. I know I'll be good with that. I take this small block of wood and use it to follow the contour of the wall. This gives me my cut line. I like to start with a pencil, then I like to take a sharp knife and carefully trace over that line. Take your time, this is a critical step, you don't want to rush it. Then I can pull the painter's tape closest to the wall. I have now done two things. First, it gives me a very clear line for me to see while I'm working. But more importantly, it cuts the top fibers of the wood. This significantly reduces the likelihood of tear out. You don't want to start cutting your finished cabinets and have a nice big chip come off the face edge. If you've done it right, you should see something like this. The yellow tape follows the contour of the wall perfectly. Okay, time to bring it outside. I lay it on its back and get to cutting. My favorite way to do this is with a track saw. I used to use a jigsaw, but this is much cleaner and much faster. I'm intentionally using a short track because the whole idea of scribing is that you don't have a straight line to work with. So I break it up in sections and cut a little at a time. You want to cut just before your line. In other words, I want to still see a little bit of that white frame. If you try to cut too much off, you risk going past the line and damaging the cabinet. Then I move to the belt sander. There are two very important techniques when using the belt sander for this purpose. A belt sander is aggressive, so the first thing is that you want to always keep it moving. Never stop in one spot. It will dig too much into the frame and you'll create lines that you don't want. Also, I always hold it vertically so the belt is sliding down against the cabinet. Don't try to hold it sideways or upside down. This makes sure the sandpaper doesn't tear up the edge of the wood. It allows me to use a pretty aggressive belt, usually 60 or 80 grit, while still keeping the finished edge under control. Just keep the sander moving and pay attention to your line. If you're worried, you can always increase the grit, say to 120 or 150, but it's going to take a lot longer to remove the material. Then I do a quick check with my square. Ideally, I want a slight back bevel as you see here. This makes sure it's very tight to the wall. The back bevel gives a little bit of clearance to improve the fit. What you don't want is this. This is the bevel in the wrong direction. So after I see this, I decided to do a little bit more sanding, holding the sander at a nice angle to get that bevel. If everything was done correctly, you should see this. No more white next to the tape, but I was careful not to go any further. Now I bring the unit back inside and check the fit. I remove the tape and the gap is gone. Nearly a perfect fit, maybe a 32nd inch gap or so, but that'll get filled with white caulk, so it'll be no problem. I used this process for both shelving units on this built-in. The wall was particularly bad on the left. As you see here, there's a nice big hump in the drywall that I had to work around, but it worked out well in the end. I've used this process for many years, very happy with the results. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. The next step on this project is to install the soffit and crown for above these shelving units. I'll be doing a video on that process as well. Thanks for watching. Hopefully I'll see you on the next one.